It's so much better to be a collaborator than it is to be a competitor. Not because collaboration and competition. So when I see you doing 100,000 downloads, Paul, it just lets me know what's possible for me. So why would I want to be in competition? Why would I want to do the same thing? Then it would create friction and hate. We don't need to be that way because it's way better to collaborate. It's way better to share the light than to put lights out.
Welcome to Atlanta. What do you think, Mack? You ever been to the ATL?
I have never been to the ATL. I expected it to be hot Atlanta.
Hot Atlanta?
It is cold Atlanta down here.
Yeah. We got about 1 or 2 weeks out of the year that's always butt chilly cold. It's in January and February, and then next week it'll be like 65. You guys just happen to come down on a cold week, but...
Well, I will say this. We came down here, and although it's cold, it ain't cold like it is in Pittsburgh. We had like a 6 or 7 inch snowstorm while I've been here, so it's warm Atlanta, I guess you could say, as compared to Pittsburgh right now.
But it has been hot in here because we have been at the LCR Summit, man.
Mm-hmm.
You were telling me at dinner last night how much value you got. That was just day one.
Yeah.
Then JP, Jonathan Potocznik's dropping it like it's hot this morning. Marvin Salcido, John Pajak, Keith Kalfas is in there. What have been your honest thoughts of the LCR Summit?
Literally from the second that Mr. Producer opened his mouth on day one all the way until now, it's been non-stop good information. I've been to a lot of different conferences, and just they haven't, I wouldn't say they haven't been for me, but I'm looking to do things on social media. I'm looking to talk to more people, and those other conferences haven't given you that. They're not even geared to do that. So it's not a slight against them, but Naylor created something that was, I felt like, specifically for me and what I want to do and where I want to go in my future, which was learning how to do social media and also how to combine the social media stuff with your business to build a brand online, not just so you could get brand deals and things like that, but so that you could have brand awareness within your own community for your own business. It's been amazing, bro. The whole experience has been amazing. The hotel was dope. The dinner was nice that Naylor sponsored. This place, the Creator Clubhouse, is insane. I mean, it's just been an excellent experience down here in Atlanta, hanging out with you guys and here at the LCR Summit with all of these cool people.
What have been some of your takeaways? I know yesterday you're playing on podcasting, but Mr. Producer's speech was so good. You sat in there for that. And Jeremy Vest, the YouTube coach, what takeaways did you have from all the talks?
You really couldn't leave. So I came down here on with a goal to get podcasts done. I had all my stuff set up and everything, and then Mr. Producer started with the first thing, and I was like, obviously no one even knows who he is. No one has seen him.
I have.
You've done a great job at keeping up the mystique of Mr. Producer. So I was eager to see what are we going to get when we get here? Is it just going to be people talking, or are we going to get real valuable information? And Mr. Producer started it off, and I couldn't podcast because I actually had to pay attention to the stuff that was being said. And it started off with Mr. Producer, and then it went straight from him to you, Paul. You crushed it. And then after that, Jeremy Vest came up, and I was eager to see him because, I'm really trying to do things on YouTube. We just got to 7,000 subscribers.
I'm down in the comments. I'm hearting.
I know. Commenting. I appreciate that. You always do come and support not just YouTube, but also the live show. But I wanted to hear what Jeremy Vest had to say when it came to YouTube, because YouTube is, it's my favorite thing to do, that in the podcast. So it's I came down here to get information on how to do that more efficiently, how to optimize the videos and all of that, how to write titles for the podcast, which Mr. Producer covered that. And then when you came up, you talked about the different pillars of content, which was another thing. Also, Jeremy Vest went over, I know I'm all over the place right now because that's how much value was here, but Jeremy Vest was going over how to write scripts the proper way. And though you can do that stuff on YouTube, you can go on YouTube and say how to write a script on YouTube, but to hear someone who has literally helped to create I think he said something like 50 people have gold play buttons. And if you don't know what a gold play button is, that's 1 million followers on Instagram. People get silver play buttons. Paul, I don't know if you have one, but people get the silver play buttons at 100,000, gold play buttons at 1 million. And this guy helped 50 at least people get to 1 million. Now, I'm not saying I need to get to 1 million subscribers, but someone who has that wealth of information, I wanted to hear it. So I really couldn't podcast yesterday at all because I needed to get that information. So I know it's a long-winded answer, but the value has been like tenfold over. Every single person has really come down here and delivered. Naylor should be very, very proud of himself.
Yeah, and he's an absolute pioneer, because to do an event like this, it's so ahead of its time.
Right.
And he risked so much to rent this crazy facility. I didn't even know, like, I brought all my own gear, and I came in and the guy's like, you need anything else? And I was like, I'm going to set up. And he's like, we already have everything set up. I was like, what are you talking about? Naylor rented all of this, the fancy cameras, the lights, the actual humans, the produce and everything. And we get to have this world-class production. Naylor paid for all of this. He bought us dinner last night at a really nice restaurant, and it's just been world-class. And so I can't thank Naylor enough for the courage and the risk to do this. And you were mentioning last night, you've been to a lot of events, and this is, you said it, this is the best you've seen.
For me,
right.
I don't want, this is not to disparage anyone else, but for me, what I would like to do, this has been the best conference. So if you want to learn social media on top of your business, because it's very important. We had Jonathan Potoshnik as as the keynote speaker, and he was talking about why he even got on social media, and it was to push things for service autopilot. And look what that became. I asked him, I said, do you think it's important that us as business owners be on social media for our companies? And he was like, absolutely, without a doubt. This is the lawn care millionaire. Like, he sold his CRM for like $1 billion, right? If he's saying it, there has to be some validity to it. And I just truly believe that if you want to really succeed in the future, social media is how you're going to do that. And to not be on social media if you have a business, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. So when I came down here, it was like, I want to learn how to be better at social media. That's, yeah. Yeah,
and pretty much everyone should be on social media, even if you don't want to have a podcast or a YouTube channel. If you own a home service-based business, a lawn care business, or landscaping business, Jonathan was saying, make a bunch of videos. You can put them on your website. What's the most frequently asked questions? When should I aerate? Well, you make a video. The best time to aerate, well, here in Atlanta is probably different than Pittsburgh, but is late April or early May. And here's why. And you basically make a little 2-minute video, and then it adds value to your customer, and you find out who your customer is and what pain points do they have. And then you make the content offering the solutions to their pain points. So the social media thing, you don't have to go copy my footsteps, and there's a lot of people that copy.
Yeah, no
literally,
no doubt. You right about
you
that.
Guys. Anyway, that's sad. But there's a principle. Even if you want to just grow your lawn care business or landscaping business, you make content solving the pain point of the customer, and everyone should master that skill. You don't have to dance on TikTok. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and just to be around, like, to have access. This has been like a more intimate experience too. So you get to sit around with a Marvin Salcedo at dinner and actually get the answers to questions, because there's not 30,000 people here like at Equip Expo. I don't know how many people are here, but it's very, very intimate, and you get to talk directly to all of the speakers. And I know you could talk to the speakers at other events as well, but it ain't like this one. This one has been like, literally, I'm talking to Jonathan Potoshnik for 3 hours at the hotel.
Really?
Just in the lobby. Yeah, and we're getting, like, you can't put a price tag on that type of access and information.
I asked Keith how it was having dinner last night, because he said, me, you, and Naylor were goofing out off at the end of the table, but Keith and Jonathan and Jeremiah Jennings are talking over there. Mm-hmm. Keith said that was a $10,000 to $20,000 conversation. He said, what Jonathan taught me in 45 minutes, he said, I would have paid $20,000 for a coaching call with Jonathan, and it would have been worth it for what Jonathan told Keith.
Yeah, it's been amazing. And also, if you're small, like Jonathan is the top of the top, right, in the industry. He's one of the top dogs. I say some things, and I'm not sure if they're the right things, right? But then I say them to Jonathan, just to get his opinion. What do you think about this? And he's like, well, I love what you just said. Like, he just basically, I'm already feeling these type of things. It's almost how I always talk about my guy Jim Rohn, is because he put words to the feelings I had. I already had the feelings. He just said it in a way that I didn't understood. And that was the same thing that happened with Jonathan. Whenever I'm like, all right, I like the fast food model. I think we should model our businesses after a Chick-fil-A. I also think we should model our businesses after like Amazon. Swipe, get your stuff quickly, but you have to order it first and pay for it before it comes. I asked him what's his thoughts on it. He's like, absolutely perfect. Like, that's exactly the way everything should be ran. I get paid first before anything else. Ask the Lawn Care Millionaire, what do you think about that? Absolutely, it's the right thing. I think you should be doing that. So to get some validation on things that I've already been feeling from someone who's ultra successful like that, has, again, like Keith said, I don't remember how much it cost to come here, but the conversations that I had while I was here, all worth it. Even like, take away the speaking, like take away the dinners and the hotel lobby conversations. They have been amazing. And then it really got nailed home when the speakers actually did start. It just rounded it all together. And then lastly, the Social Proof Podcasting Studios. I know I said it already, but Paul is the most professional of podcasters in our green industry. Everyone else is just guys who went and bought a board, right? And it's all have great information, but to see the level of professionalism that podcasting really is from someone who's a top podcaster, that has been priceless. Like, just to get to see what it could be if you get really good at what you're doing. It could be something that you couldn't imagine, because I never imagined that we were going to be in a place like this, Paul. I'll tell you that right now.
And David Shantz, who you're referencing, he's in the top 20 of business podcasts, entrepreneurships. You know, every now and again, Fullerton and I will crack the top 100 and we'll text each other a little screenshot. It'll be like number 78, Fullerton will be like 74. Like, look, dude, we're making it, you know, or like 88 and 84 or whatever. I think I saw Fullerton was like 45 one day. He might have cracked the top 50. Yeah, but it was one day. We screenshot it and we were all happy. And then we spent a while in the top 100. But David's like top 10-ish. Like, he's...
Yeah.
Social Proof Podcast is like almost one of the top ones. And he's had some big guests on there. But I was talking to his team, and they basically make some money and then they invest it and get a new camera. Make some money, invest it, get another camera. Make some money, invest it. I mean, this room we're sitting in is tens of thousands of dollars with the equipment. And then there's another room over there. That wall wasn't there when they built this. It was just a big room with 4 walls, the whole thing. They built these different walls and different rooms, and like, they built their business, they invested, and they kept building it. And now it's this crazy studio with the main studio where they have their main show, which is just, once you walk in there, you're just like, you get a vision for like, I want to have something like this one day. But even these side studios are like, this is like the third nicest studio here. You and Jeremiah got the dope one.
Yeah, well, I will say this though about the reinvesting into, it's the same thing, because all business translates. So it doesn't matter if you own an NBA franchise, a McDonald's, or a lawn care business. Business is business, and if you will reinvest into your business to get the nicer things, you will become more efficient. That's what we do in our business, right? We invest into a new mower. Maybe the mower was, you were pushing 21-inch mowers like I was. You invest $3,000 and get a used John Deere mower that catches on fire 3 times while you own it. But you do those yards that were taking an hour in 30 minutes. Then you upgrade again. Once you make some more money, you upgrade into, now I have the Toro mowers, the 60-inch multi-force, the 52-inch grandstand. Now those 30-minute yards are 12-minute yards. That's what it felt like when we walked in here into this podcasting studio. So to hear how, when he even said that, like he told us all of that, we just reinvesting to keep reinvesting. And now the podcast does a couple $1 million, but we're reinvesting in the great people all of their
Yeah,
people.
you
are
guys
the-
have really good people, Kenny. I mean, everyone I've interacted with, like you guys, like are passionate about this, and we're amateur podcasters. You know what I'm saying? But like being around you, top notch. Like it really is. It had an impact on us. The excellence is the word I'm looking for. Excellence.
No doubt.
We appreciate
Absolutely. It smells good. It looks good.
it. The bathroom's nice.
Yeah, the bathroom's got art
The
in
girls
them.
one is not
Yeah.
the other one. But.
Man, it's this whole experience of coming to cold Atlanta or warm Atlanta, because it ain't hot Atlanta, I'll tell you that. It has been amazing to me, and I'm solo. Like, I mean, the hotel was nice. Everything has just been nice down here except for the weather.
Yeah. And one of the other things that Naylor's been so focused on over the years is bringing unity in our community. You've never heard him call out anybody or say something bad about somebody, but what he does is he brings us together. Jeremiah Jennings, Andrew Martinez, yourself, me. I'm probably leaving out some people that are here. Mr. Producer, I'm not intentionally leaving anyone out, but there's 8 or 9 podcasters, creators here. And he brings us all together, takes us all out to dinner, like get along, and the camaraderie here. You know, Andrew and you are collaborating before we got on. Like everyone's collaborating and supporting one another. That's rare to have that kind of unity. But Naylor fights for it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You gotta fight for what you want. It's so much better to be a collaborator than it is to be a competitor. Not because collaboration and competition to me can be one and the same. So when I see you doing 100,000 downloads, Paul, it just lets me know what's possible for me. So why would I want to be in competition? Why would I want to do the same thing? Especially when I know that you will help me if I ask. You know what I mean? So it's so much easier to get where you want to go. And it doesn't mean from Paul, who has 100,000 download podcast, to my 100 download podcast, that I can't help Paul, you know? And it doesn't mean that I won't eventually get to where Paul's at. And if Paul was the type of guy who was like, oh, I'm not going to do any of that, then it would create friction and hate and all. And we don't need to be that way, because it's way better to collaborate. It's way better to share the light than to put lights out. And like that's been a lot what this whole experience has been, Paul. It's just like more light of information, more light of cooperation, more light of collaboration. It's just been an amazing experience, and it makes me want to continue to do this over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, you reap what you sow. When you sow and help someone, then when you're going to need help one day, it's going to be effortless because you've helped other people.
Yeah, no doubt.
There's a fella in our community, Al Blades. He was out there struggling in Florida, cutting that grass, making that cash, just trying to figure it out. And he would listen to my podcast and he'd DM me. And his YouTube channel, he'd get like 30 views. You know, every now and again he might get 100 or so views. And then he made a video doing a big cleanup job. Lawn Care Juggernaut said, if you make a video cleaning up an overgrown yard, I'll share it. So Al went and found the craziest yard in Florida, and he mowed it, filmed it, and it was taking off before the Juggernaut even shared it. And that video had over 1 million views. And then Al Blades got, I think, like 30,000 subscribers that, like, off that video. And the next thing you know, he had 100,000. Now he's got over 1 million. He's got his gold play button. He made, I know how much money he made the last couple of years, and it's out. It's crazy. Just off Google AdSense. I'm talking crazy. And anyway, now, but I was helping him when he had less than, cracking 30 views. And now he's taking me golfing in Florida. Now he's soared past me, you know what I mean? Soared past me. And but he remembered that I was there for him when he was, I don't want to say a nobody, but he wasn't recognized yet. Now he can't go out in public without somebody, are you Al Blades? You look just like Al Blades. He's like, I am Al Blades.
That's crazy.
Oh my gosh, can I get a picture? But before the riches and the fame, he was listening to podcasts. And so you help everyone, and then you just like popcorn. You don't know who's going to take off. But I would not be surprised at all, specifically your YouTube channel, if that thing takes off. I was watching that video you did at Brian's event, walking around. I was like, so natural. Like
Well, I
it's.
appreciate that,
I don't
man.
know how well it performed, but I watched it. I was entertained.
Well, so far it has like 1,700 views,
Okay.
and then I just put a shop tour out because that's what I like to do. Um, I like to show what other people are doing. I was when I first started my business, and I found out about podcasts. I didn't know anything about them. The first one I ever listened to was called Sword and Scale. It's the original true crime podcast, but it was, I wouldn't say giving me bad thoughts, but it was giving me bad mojo because you just listening about murders all
Yeah,
day.
that's not
It was
cool.
super entertaining. I mean, if you're entertained by that type, just hearing the stories, because the guy's a great storyteller. So hearing the stories is almost like you can see a movie in your head. But they weren't good movies for me. I found Dave Ramsey though because I found out about the podcast. And one of the things that I learned about Dave Ramsey was I didn't graduate college. I went to college for a half a semester. School wasn't for me. So I thought that I could never be successful. Then I started my business, and when I got my first zero turn 2.5 years in, then I was like, I don't feel like a grass cutter anymore. Now I do feel like I own a business. I would listen to Dave Ramsey religiously because I was trying to get out of debt or pay my debt down. I'm still not totally out, but just to pay my debt way down. Now I have like minuscule debt
And you
besides,
have momentum.
yeah, besides my truck, but now the snowball's rolling heavy. But the thing that I liked most about Dave Ramsey is I thought I was listening to the show because of him, and I wasn't. I was listening to the show for the people who were calling in. And what I learned from the people who were calling in was that success is in the eye of the beholder, because I might not have graduated high school. I mean, college. I did graduate high school, but I might not have graduated college, which meant I don't have student loan debt, which meant I didn't have a whole lot of debt at all. And then I would hear people who I thought were successful, doctors, lawyers, police officers, firefighters, like all of these different people, they were the people calling Dave. They weren't Andy Moulder calling Dave saying, hey, I have $1 million in my bank account. I don't know what to do with it. They were saying, I got $700,000 in debt and I didn't graduate, and it was for criminal justice, and I went to Yale. And he eviscerates them for that. I wasn't playing a compare game after I heard that because I thought to myself, yeah, maybe I don't have a shiny certificate from a university, but that person got $700,000 in debt. I can become a millionaire faster than them because I don't have debt. And if I just make these good decisions now based off the information from someone who is super successful and tried and true, like he's talking to 17 million people, then I can be successful. So whenever I started my YouTube channel, I didn't exactly know what to do. Like, what's going to be my angle? I don't want to be Brian. I don't want to be Keith. I don't want to be anyone else. I just want to be me and do my thing. Dave Ramsey is talking to people. And if he talks to people, people get to learn from that. So I thought to myself, if I go around and do shop tours and show this is how this regular guy lives or this regular lady lives, and it's great, and you could do it too. You could do it just like I did it, just like Paul did it, just like all the other people that you see on social media did it. You could do it too. I'm going to show you by showing you a whole bunch of different people that you can do this. So I like to talk more about the people and how they feel. Also, because Dave Ramsey would have those debt-free
Screams.
screams, and them things would have me in tears, bruh. Cause I got a family, and I want them to have the best life possible. No one, in my personal opinion, and this might not be true, but no one in my family has had the best life. I want to be the first. I want to be the person who changes everything for my future. And I knew that if I start doing social media and I start to help people, just like Jim Rohn said, if you help enough people get what they want, you can have anything that you want. I've said that on here before. But if I start showing people, they'll understand too that they can have anything that they want, because Ricky's Pro Lawn Service is a solo guy down in Florida. He did $200,000 solo, all by himself. You think you can't be successful? You're telling yourself a lie. And so I want to show people that so that they know, oh, if Ricky can do it, I can do it. If Cornell can do it, I can do it. If Paul can do it, I can do it. You don't have to be Paul. You don't have to get to the scale of Paul or the scale of somebody who has $1 million business, but you can do this. And you should do this. You deserve to do this.
Well said, Mac. Well, we have time restriction here because I got to back up all these files. I want to get them files from those testimonials. You think I can do that, Kenny? So let people know how they can connect with you.
You can find me on YouTube at Mack Landscaping and Lawn Care. You can get me on Instagram if you want to DM me or got any questions at Mack_landscaping 412. I also do a live show on Instagram every Wednesday at 9 p.m. called the Lawn Care Power Moves Podcast, the Lawn Care Power Moves live show with Mack and Steele, my co-host, my man Cedric. And then I have a new podcast called On the Attack with Mack. Episodes come out Tuesdays and Thursdays.
And thanks again to Naylor for the LCR Summit here, pioneering this event. Thanks to our friends at the Creator Clubhouse. We got Kenny. We have a real producer. What's your boy? Those sports talk shows. They got a producer over there.
Oh, yeah, Dan Levitard.
Yeah, we got a real producer. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And thank you to the Creator Clubhouse for hosting this with Naylor. It's been an amazing event. And if you guys missed it this year, you should come to the LCR Summit next year. And if you are listening to this before February 23rd and 24th, come to the Lawn Care Life Conference in Alabama with Jason Creole. That event is going to be on and popping, man. I've been to that event. Last time they had it, it is world class. 100 acres. Jason owns 100 acres, his family, and they have the event on their family property. It's a family atmosphere, tons of knowledge, great event. It will be sold out though, so get your ticket before things sells out at greenindustrypodcast.com. So thank you, Mac.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.